All right, y'all. What's up? Good afternoon. Sorry about that nasty fade out. I can never do fade out, y'all. So I apologize, but I'm still serving it. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Geomark Panello, and I use he, him, his pronouns. And I am the mentorship program's leadership advisor at the Center for Cultural and Inclusive Excellence. So, welcome to Thunderbird Thursday Collaborative Work, a part of ThunderWeek Spring. Welcome 2021. Before we begin, I want to share some tips to enhance today's program experience. Live automated captions are available. If the captions did not show up for you automatically, click on the live transcript button at the bottom of your screen to view subtitles. You can also click the view you can also click to view the full transcript so you can see what's said earlier. And if you'd rather not see the captions, you can also turn them off by selecting subtitles or selecting hide subtitles. There you go. Because we have many participants during this event, we are keeping y'all muted unless given permission by the host or the presenter. If you are seeking a more focused view on your Zoom screen, we recommend that you switch to speaker view instead of gallery view to highlight the person speaking throughout this meeting. You can switch by going to the upper right corner. This is upper right corner over here on mine end, and clicking on the three dots to change the mode. This program is also being recorded and will be available on CLS YouTube page in a few days. If you have a technical problem or event question, please feel free to use the chat feature so you can connect with us. You're also welcome to use the chat function throughout the program to connect not only with us but also with your peers. So with that, we would like to we would what do you call that? We would like you to check in using our Google form. The URL is being posted on the chat. Thank you, Edwina, or whoever is posting it. By checking in, you help us keep track of how many students we are serving with these programs and to get to know you more. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. We also have some Thunder Week swag that we can mail out to students who have not received them yet. So this includes an academic planner, sticky notebook, tote bag, and Highline face mask. Please fill out this form being posted in the chat again. I think it's already posted to provide your address to receive the swag pack. Again, please do not sign up if you already received these items earlier in the year. So I think like we've been giving them throughout our programming for fall and for winter quarter. We would now like to collectively take a moment to acknowledge all Indigenous and First People of the land and space in which we live and breathe. For our community at Highland College, we recognize that we are an occupied Duwamish, Coast Salish, Muckleshoot, and Puyallup lands, and we want to thank all relations and tribes today as we prepare to hold space as a community. We recognize that all of us are joining this conversation from different areas, so we also want to invite you to reflect and thank indigenous and first people of the land and spaces in which you are coming from. You can also visit nativeland.ca as a good place to start learning about whose land you live in. So thank you. And now I would like to invite my co-host for this program. Let's welcome Ewizy to the virtual stage.
Thank you, Gio. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Highline T-Birds. My name is Edwina Fui, aka Iweezy, as Gio mentioned. I use she, her pronouns, and I work as the Intercultural Center Leadership Advisor within our Center for Cultural and Inclusive Excellence, aka CCIE. I officially want to say welcome to Thunderbird Thursday. Welcome back to folks who have been joining our monthly workshops. If this is your first time joining us, we want to share that this event is a part of what we call our Connect program in the center, which is our CLS and CCIE departments. Every first Thursday of the month, we invite co-facilitators or facilitators to share on various topics in relation to what leadership is. So last month, for example, we hosted our cross-cultural leadership. Other topics that we have covered in the past are what is your leadership style and self-community care. if you attend at least 5 of these Thunderbird Thursday programs, we offer a leadership certificate upon completion. So, to make sure that you receive that, we want to ask that you track and document your journey at the link that I will post in the chat pretty soon. And so, now, for the event today, I am super excited. We have a guest speaker, part of our family today, which is Laura Yañez. And so Laura identifies as a queer, non-binary immigrant from Colombia and unapologetic educator. They spent 4 years learning basic English language skills at Highline. So you have an alumni family who's going to be speaking to you today. And so while also working as a laborer and housekeeper. At Highline, Laura founded the English as a Second Language ESL Club and served as student body president in 2014 to 2015. Currently, they are the Transition Success Center program manager right here at Highline, and today they will be sharing on the topic of collaborative leadership. Each of us will have the opportunity to explore different ways to foster collaborative leadership through self-observation and community perspectives. Highline T-Birds, please help me in welcoming Laura Yañez. Woo!
Right on, right on. Thank you so much. Please type in the chat, how are you feeling today? It is Thursday, it's almost Friday. I'm so excited for the weekend. So just share with us, how are you feeling? How are you feeling right now? How are you feeling today? And we're gonna get it started. Oh, busy with homework, feeling great, really tired. Yes, I'm feeling fine. Yes, 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 love it. A little bit of everything. Friday, yes. Homework, homework, homework. Okay. So beautiful outside, yes. It's getting sunnier, I love it. Yeah, feeling great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing, yes. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen. There we go. All right. So for today's workshop, we're gonna need a piece of paper and like something to like write on. So just grab anything that you have available. We're gonna do some writing today. It's not my favorite thing to do. I don't like writing, but I promise you won't be writing an essay for sure. And while you do that, we're gonna create some community guidelines. So I came up with this ones, which is respecting everyone's ideas and opinions. We all have different life experiences, backgrounds, and what could be what's something that I appreciate personally, maybe the other person might not. So we're just gonna like respect that. Please be open-minded. This workshop might be not what you're expecting. So just be open-minded and also be open-minded with other people to like new ideas, new perspectives. And the next one is one diva, one mic. I love this one. This one is one person talking at the same time. So just one person at the same time. A step in, a step back, kind of like self-explanatory. If you like to speak a lot, please wait for other people to share. And if you are more like an introvert and you don't like to share that much, I highly encourage you to share. Of course, as comfortable as you feel. Please use I statements. We all, even though if we can identify with similar backgrounds or experiences, or if we identified as part of the same community. We all have different experiences. So please use I statements. What else? What else do you want? What else you expect from other people? Please unmute yourself or type it in the chat. I'm not able to see the chat, so if someone can tell me. What else would you like to add to this list?
Maya says, don't yuck my yum.
Don't.
Yuck my yum.
Ooh, I don't know how to write that.
Oh, yep. That looks good, Laura. Yep. And then yum. Y-U-M.
Y-U-M.
Hi, Weena. Hi, Weena. How are you?
Hi, Ying. Welcome in. Laura, another comment from Joseph. It says, don't judge the book by its cover.
Ooh.
Your birthday's this month, and it's gonna be in 10 days.
Anything else?
I don't see any other comments, so I think
Right.
we're good.
Okay, so thumbs up if you agree with this. Yes, all right. Sounds good. Let me see. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so now we're gonna do an icebreaker activity. I'm gonna demonstrate first, and then Edwina is gonna help us to go into breakout rooms. So our icebreaker activity is you are just gonna grab any object that it's next to you or something that you use, right? And I'm providing two options because some people have your camera on and some people don't, and that's totally fine. So if you have your camera on, you're gonna just like show your object. So I have a water bottle, right? And then option two is that you're gonna describe the object. So you would say something like, I have a container that you can put like water or juice or, and your team members, they need to guess what you're talking about. And the second part of this is you're gonna like share a little bit about what's your relationship with the object that you have. So my relationship with my water bottle is that my water bottle has water that keeps me hydrated during the daytime. Why are we doing this? So we usually talk about relationships. When we talk about relationships in general, we immediately think about people, but we often don't talk about how we have relationships with objects or like things. So just doing something a little bit different. Any questions before we go into breakout rooms? Gio, if you're speaking, you're muted. I don't know if you're singing or no questions? Okay, Edwina.
All right. We'll see you all back in a couple minutes.
I hope you had great conversations with your team. So let me share my screen again. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna move on. And okay, so our learning objective, which I think Edwina or Amy already read it. We're going to be exploring different ways to foster collaborative leadership through self-observation and community perspective. So we're going to figure it out, like, what does that mean? I'm going to be sharing a little bit about me. I'm very family oriented. Maybe some of you have also similar values. I am the oldest child of 3. My mom was a single mom, a very hardworking person. And from my bio, like, you learned that I was very involved on campus. I actually want to share a little bit of my experience when I was at Highline. I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't like doing homework. I don't like to read. I don't like to write. So homework, like classes always felt like, oh my God, like I have to do this. But I was definitely determined to accomplish my goal. So I was like, no matter what it takes, this is you gotta do what you gotta do. And what kept me going is when I started being involved on campus. So when I started, like being out there, being connected with CLS and all the programming that the entire department offers. And that's what kept me like so motivated, and that's what made college easier, I guess. And it also like helped me realize that helped me also figure it out what I wanted to do next. And there is a lot of shame around changing your major, like, oh no, you're supposed to like, you're supposed to know what the heck are you gonna do. I changed my major 3 times. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and that's completely fine. So I forgot what I was going to say, but I changed my major 3 times. Oh, I remember now. So because I was so involved on campus, I realized that I was like talking to, Aisha and Doris, and other people that are not longer working at Highland. I was like, I want to be like you. Like, what do you do? Like, this is fun. I want to do this. And I started asking questions, and I was like, oh shoot, this is what I want to do. And so after I graduated from Highline, I completed my bachelor's in social welfare. I went to UW Tacoma, and after that, I went to Seattle U to do a master's in education. And um, and after that, I came back and I started working at Highline. And I want to mention something that I think is really key in my journey is that when I was a student at Highline, I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. Being an immigrant, being my English, my second language, being in a new, like, different culture, all of this. And something that CLS did for me and the people that work there is that they saw my potential before I did. I'm going to say this one more time. They saw my potential before I did. And this is so powerful because I didn't have that confidence in myself, right? And they were just like, cheerleaders, yeah, you should, like, yeah, we can, they gave me the tools to become the best version of me. and I will always be grateful for that. So, so if you're staff, so when you have bad days, remember this: you're making an impact on someone else. Um, and also, and there is a video, so I have proof of this. So 7 years ago, I said that I wanted to work at Highline, and I did. And 7 years ago, the job that I currently have was my dream job, right? So 7 years later, I'm also like, I don't know what's gonna be next for me. I'm also trying to figure it out what the heck am I gonna be doing next. So it is a work in progress. Success it is a work in progress. It never settles, right? So it is a continuing journey. Are there any comments in the chat? Because I don't think I'm able to see the chat.
No general questions or comments. They're mainly just myself, just cheering you on with some of the stuff you're sharing. So I'll let you know, Laura.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So when you see this picture, that means you're gonna be writing. So on a piece of paper, you're gonna write down how are you spending your time? Like, like what does that mean? So what are you putting your energy into? How do you spend the majority of time? Like, what are you reading? What are you watching? Are you watching like news, or you spend a lot of time like worrying about your homework, or you're spending your time, I don't know, with any pets that you have, or how are you? And I want you to think a little bit of like outside of the box. Like, I know you have commitments of doing like homework, but what about your free time? How are you spending that time? What are you like focusing on? Just write it down. All right. Who wants to share? Just unmute yourself or like type in the chat. Are people allowed to unmute themselves?
We're gonna do that right now, Laura.
Okay.
All right. Yep. Folks should be able to unmute themselves now.
I play video games. I listen to music. I like to draw. I make animation. Even though I always get distracted. I always walk around the house.
Sounds good. Thank you. Go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
I read my cookbook. I play Need to Speak Pepper. I use Trim on my first in context and films in school, middle school and high school.
Thank you. Who else?
So, can I go next, Laura?
Yes, go ahead.
So I spend time at home watching the news, like different types of news on TV. So when I go out the door for my free time, I used to go like shopping, like used to go eat and shop, like, yeah. Okay, so that's it.
Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay, go ahead.
So I do work, of course, but my job is like variable. So that's like a lot of different activities like housework or animal caretaking or all kinds of things really. and of course school. And I wrote cat separately because I like the cat. And then I spend a lot of time like fostering connection and community on my social media and spending time reading news that is important to my friends. Like I like to check up on that kind of stuff. And I play Animal Crossing. I like the free one that's on the phone. Pocket Camp is free.
My speech teacher played Animal Crossing too.
I play Animal Crossing too.
I never played it. I just played Newspeak.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share?
Hi. So when I'm free, I usually play video game, eating and sleeping, and call my mom to ask money.
Okay. All right. So it seems like we have a variety of, like different things that people like to do during free time. So let me share my screen. Okay, I'm gonna read this quote that says, "Where you put your attention, you put your energy, and that becomes your reality." Where you put your attention, you put your energy, and that becomes your reality. This quote, it could be, when I read this quote, it resonated like so much with me, and made me realize, kind of like thinking about, or like double checking, how do I spend my time, right? So some of you, were just talking about like talking to your mom, or like, connecting with your peers, and I think that's amazing. For example, for me, I realized that at the beginning of the pandemic, I was watching news all the time, and that triggers my anxiety. And it got to a point that it was too much. This quote is by Justin Michael Williams, and Justin Michael Williams has a book that I'm actually reading that is called Stay Woke. And it's about, he provides tools for targeting people of color, in how to meditate, and with social justice lens. And it has a completely different focus of, if you're like new to meditation or you haven't figured it out, if meditation is a thing for you or not, I highly recommend this book. Thank you all for sharing. All right, so we're gonna keep writing. So now, just write down 2 to 3 toxic habits. So something toxic that it's not contributing to becoming the best version of yourself. So I'm gonna give you a few minutes to write about that. It could be words, it could be sentences, whatever you want to do. Okay, we have people sharing here. Managing money, drink and drive, spend a lot of money, arguing, sleep until last minute, sleep at midnight. Yeah, what else? Anyone else would like to share? Criticizing. Yes, that's a good one. Procrastinating. Think too much about future or past. Yeah. Yes, we're in autopilot. We're always we're having a hard time being present. Mistakes in the past. Okay, now let me ask you this. They're probably wondering, like, what the heck are we doing? So how do you think this is all connected to collaborative leadership? Any idea is welcome. How all of this that we're doing is related to collaborative leadership, which is the topic of today. Yes, a lot of our toxic traits might be in relationship with how we interact with others. Yes, your strengths, weakness, and how you spend your time affects others. Yes, some people have suicidal thoughts and attempts to kill themselves after drinking a lot of alcohol and using a lot of drugs. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, so a lot of all what you're saying, it's yeah, this is correct. That's why we're when we talk about, you know, like collaboration, we're always thinking about, you know, like as a group, or we're thinking about like other people, but we tend to look like the outside, right? Someone said at the beginning, you know, like don't judge the book by its cover, and we tend to usually just like look at that, but we don't look inside of our own selves, right? So that's why we're doing all of this. And now we're gonna watch a video that for people that are having that are struggling with waking waking up at the time they're pretending they pretend to wake up. We're gonna watch this video that it is, I mean, it's not gonna solve all your problems, but it's gonna give you an idea of how to trick your brain to change some habits that you might have. In Mel Robbins is the one who talks about the 5 second rule. Have you seen the video, the 5 second rule by Mel Robbins? Okay, so let's do it. Let me.
When you understand the power of a 5 second decision, and you understand that you always have a choice to go from autopilot to decision maker, everything in your life will change. You will be a different negotiator. You will be different in sales. You will be unstoppable in the gym, because you will realize the amount of garbage that you put in the way of your hopes, of your dreams, of your potential, of your confidence, of your courage. Everything comes down to the decisions that you make. We all know what to do. None of us know how to make ourselves do it. I wanted to change my life. And I think most people that are miserable, or that are really like dying to be great and dying to have more, we want to change. We want to live a better life. We want to create more for our families. We want to be happier. The desire is there. Again, it's about how do you go from knowledge to action. So the first thing in this story that's important is realizing that the answer was in me. And my mind was telling me, pay attention. The next morning, the alarm goes off, and I pretended NASA was there. It's the stupidest story. I literally went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I counted out loud, and then I stood up. And I'll never forget standing there in my bedroom. It was dark, it was cold, it was winter in Boston. And for the first time in 3 months, I had beaten my habit of hitting the snooze button. I couldn't believe it. And I thought, wait a minute, counting backwards? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, the next morning I used it again and it worked. The next morning I used it again and it worked. The next morning I used it again and it worked. And then I started to notice something really interesting. There were moments all day long, just like that 5-second moment in bed, where I knew knowledge what I should do. And if I didn't move within 5 seconds, my brain would step in and talk me out of it. Every human being has a 5-second window. It might even be shorter for you. You have about a 5-second window in which you can move from idea to action before your brain kicks into full gear and sabotages any change in behavior. Because remember, your brain is wired to stop you from doing things that are uncomfortable or uncertain or scary. It's your job to learn how to move from those ideas that could change everything into acting on in the smallest moment. The thing that's so cool about this, and I should tell you the science behind it, because I'm going to be honest with you, it is stupid. Had I ever thought that I would find myself 8 years after discovering it, spending my days telling people about the 5-second rule? First of all, I would have picked a different name, because it reminds you of the one where you have to like pick up food within 5 seconds off the floor, right? It was my secret weapon. This was something I did. I never intended to tell anybody, because I went from getting up on time and waking up on time to shaking up my entire life. So I started researching it. Why does something so stupid work? Why? Why does something so silly create such powerful and profound change? Well, here's why. The rule is a form of metacognition. Metacognition is a fancy pants term that means something real simple. You can outsmart your own brain in furtherance of goals. There are tricks that you can use that actually outsmart the tricks your brain plays on you in furtherance of a higher purpose. We all know this. You can restrain yourself if you're in a situation that calls for it. You can jump into a raging river to save your dog or your kid. You can direct yourself in ways if it's important to you. And so the rule, what it does is it does something really remarkable. When you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what you're actually doing is you're interrupting what researchers call habit loops that get encoded as closed loop patterns in your basal ganglia. That's the part of the brain where your feelings, where your emotions, every habit that you have, which is nothing more than behavior that you repeat that you don't even think about. When you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it interrupts what's going on here that's spinning without you thinking, and it moves and awakens your prefrontal cortex. So when you hit 1, your habit has been interrupted. So you've interrupted self-doubt. You've interrupted maybe snapping at your kids. You've interrupted the desire to grab for a drink. You've interrupted procrastination. You've also, by counting backwards, done an action. It's awakened your prefrontal cortex. That is the part of the brain that you need that's awake when you're changing behavior, when you're learning new things. When you hit 1, it's also a prompt. So in the language of research, you'll hear people talk about starting rituals. That is something that's proven to help you learn a new habit. The 5-second rule, when you repeat it, becomes a starting ritual that triggers you to act with confidence, that triggers you that this is a moment for courage, that triggers you to shift gears. And because you've also done the manual work of awakening the part of the brain that you need to change, you've set yourself up for success. It doesn't work if you count up, because you can keep going. And also counting up doesn't require focus. If you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, It, again, awakens the prefrontal cortex and it prompts you to move. When you start to use it and then you read about it, you'll see that it's being used all over the place. They use it in the armed services in order to align troops and get them to start an exercise. They use it in elementary schools, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, at big assemblies to get a huge room full of kids to stop talking.
Simple and interesting example, yeah.
Because it requires you to focus. It's not a habit. It will become a habit that prompts you to have confidence, courage. But in the beginning, it interrupts patterns of behavior that you do on autopilot. It helps you assert control, and it teaches you how to become the kind of person that moves from thinking about something to actually doing it.
Were you all able to watch the video?
No, we weren't able to, but we were listening louder. We weren't sure if it was an audio share or if it was video.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
You're all good.
My bad. What do you all think? Thoughts about the video? Interesting, huh? Anyone willing to try it?
Hi, I just want to say a few comments about the video. I heard about this rule, 5 seconds rule. So a lot of people adopt this rule to do more things because we all the time think more than we do. So instead of overthink about bad consequences or bad outcomes, we do it, and then most of the time it's better to do than don't do at all. So even if it's bad experience or good experience, you still do it and you experience it, and based on it you kind of learn or just experience good positive outcomes. So I think we all need to reconsider this rule and do more action instead of overthink about possible negative consequences or like outcomes.
Yes, thank you. We're always, like overthinking things all the time. Yeah, I think it was quite interesting that talks about like procrastination. I'm using it to do my laundry now. I'm like sitting down, I'm like, I need to do laundry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. But it definitely works with your alarm. I tried it the other day, but you should give it a try and see how it works for you. I mean, it's not that it's gonna, change. I don't think it's gonna change my entire life, but at least it can help, with some things. I'm so sorry she couldn't see the video. I was like, I wasn't sure. I'm sorry, but yeah, someone, I think Kim, sent me a message that I just saw. All right, let's continue with the presentation.
When you understand the power.
No. Okay, so this is a very famous Mayan phrase that says in lakech alakein, and this means I am you and you are me. So meaning that we are connected with each other, and that what we see in others, it is a reflection of us. I want to share a quick story. A few months ago, I was staying at one of my best friends' house, and my friend at the time didn't have a job. And so I was just like staying there, and my friend like woke up around like 1 p.m. And in my head, I was like, dude, I didn't say anything, but I was like, dude, like you don't have a job. You're just like whatever, like waking up like super late. And then also my friend, because they were not working, so they didn't have a lot of money, right? So my friend would like go and like, oh, I'm going to the beauty salon, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I was just like again in my head, like being so like criticizing my friend, and just like, really, like my friend is like spending all this money, and and things that you don't need. Like you need to pay the bills, and you need to, yes. So I was like assuming all of these things, and just like criticizing my friend and all of that. And later I realized that what I was criticizing on my friend, that's actually what I needed. So what my friend was doing is my friend was practicing self-care and spending money in things that made them feel good. And I had an aha moment that I was like, dang, that was a lesson that I needed to learn, right? That I shouldn't care about how much it's gonna cost. I should be like caring about just like taking care of myself, right? Physically and mentally. So now, Edwina, if you can help us to go into breakout rooms. So I want you to think about something that you are seeing in other people, that maybe like the story that I was sharing about my friend, like maybe something that you are missing that you're probably seeing in other people. So this could be something that you could probably like do all the time, something that you're criticizing all the time, like why this group or so and so are doing this, and how can you reflect back and see if that's something that you need to work on, or if that's something um, that is missing. I know this is kind of like a deep reflection, but if you can think of something, and please share in your group. Any questions before we go into groups? Do we have everyone is back? Yes, okay, sounds good. Okay, we're gonna move on. Okay, so this is kind of like the formal, like a more formal definition of collaborative leadership. Can we have a volunteer to read this, please?
What is collaborative leadership? Collective leadership means that all team members are empowered and choose to cooperate to accomplish a common goal.
Thank you, Joseph. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you, this is like the definition, or like the professional outlook definition of collaborative leadership, but later I will share my own definition. So my job on campus is to assist students that are transitioning from pre-college classes to college credit classes. So students that are taking basic English classes, or students that are doing GED, or that are part of the high school completion programs, or any of adult basic education classes. So my job is to do holistic advising. What the heck is that? What is holistic advising? So imagine that you are on campus, right? And then you have questions about financial aid. Then you go to the financial aid office. Let's say you need to select your classes, and then you go to the academic advising center, right? You want to get involved on campus, then you go building A, third floor, to meet some amazing people, right? So what I do is I'm seeing when I meet a student, I'm seeing the student as a whole, in a variety of different needs. So that means that when I meet with a student, I'm assisting them with a variety of different things. So for example, I could assist a student with class registration. I could also assist a student with selecting the program of study, and assist them with how applying for funding, and also referring them to different resources. So to do that, I do have to collaborate with, and this is like some of the departments that I need to collaborate with, to ensure that the information that I'm giving to the student is correct, and also working as a team to better support our students. And also because a big part of my job is to meet students one-on-one, and I hear their needs. So I'm also an advocate when I meet with all these people to advocate for the students, right? And how can we as a team collaborate to improve those services as a campus. All right. So what are some of the advantage of collaborative leadership? So it distributes, wait. Yeah. So it distributes responsibilities into different team members. So it reduces the workload, for your team. It demands creativity. You have to come up with, like thinking outside of the box. It is more balanced when creating decisions, and it focuses on building, like personally building strengths, and of course breaks down silos, and supports people to work together. Some disadvantages. Collaboration doesn't mean that everyone is going to agree, right? People are going to have like different opinions, and also people have different like work styles, and they bring like different ideas. And also, even though working as a team, it could be great, but this means that it requires that people are connected. And some people prefer to work by themselves, right? They prefer to do things in their own. And a perfect example for that is when your English instructor tells you that you have to write a paper, and there are like 5 people in your group, and you are like, hell no, I don't want to do this. I prefer to do it by myself, because for many different reasons, right? That's a great example for that. And the other one, it creates, it is very, the roles are very ambiguous. And that means that the role of one person could mean a bunch of different things. So in your staff, you know that you're like wearing different hats, like, oh, I do this and I also do this and I do this and then I did this. So it could create confusion for people that are not that don't know a lot about your role, because like people could ask you like, so what do you do? And you're like, oh, I do all of these things. So your role is not like very specific. It could be all over the place. Okay, so now we're gonna do something fun, hopefully. So you're gonna make a list on a piece of paper. Just make a list of the things, about all the things that you can think of that you are good at. Just write them. And I'm gonna give you like 1 minute or so. Just write down all the things that you are good at. Make a list. And after you're done, you're gonna select only one. And it could be anything. This could be anything. Okay. So select one word, just one thing that you're really good at. Okay. So now, having the framework or the lens of collaborative leadership, we're assuming that this is a project that you need to do. So you're going to organize a bake sale because we're collecting funds for students that are in need, okay? Bake sale, and you have to like organize it with a group of people, and you're gonna collect, the funds for these students. So now, keeping that in mind, now I want you to say, what are you going to contribute to the project? And what you're going to contribute to the project is whatever the word that you selected that you are good at. So go for it. And my example is cook. So I'm gonna be contributing my cooking skills. So I want to hear from other people. Super quick because we're running out of time. So go for it. Who wants to share? Improvise. Good. Make art. Yeah. What else? Planning. Bake. What? There you go. What else? Make animations. Build my own desktop. Yeah, so if you can build your own desktop, we can build a table to have our bake sale organized, make a story. Yes, I love it. I love it. Making a flyer. Yes, design. Yes, we can definitely, if you can think of like all of these skills, we can utilize to have our bake sale, right? And just to like wrap up, this is how I define collaborative leadership. To me, collaborative leadership is like a potluck, right? You bring what you want. You bring yourself, right? If you have the time, you might cook a meal with your heart, and then you share it with other people, right? If you don't have time to cook, or if you don't know how to cook, then you go to a store and you like grab whatever you could, and that also works. Not everyone has to be the same. Not everyone is bringing the same skills. It's just what we all bring as a team, what is going to help us to come together and work on a project. So my highlight of this workshop is, or something that I take away, or a tip that I would like to share with you all, is that oftentimes we have to navigate expectations from your instructors or expectations, from your supervisors or like other people, and also like being professional versus like being authentic, right? I think that's the balance between those two. And if you can share in the chat anything that you're like, any like takeaways, or any highlights or anything that you like about the workshop, or if you would like to share also how you define collaborative leadership, that's fine. Just type anything in the chat. And with that, thank you so much for having me. I know this workshop was kind of like all over the place, and I intentionally did that. So thank you so much for having me. And now I let you with, I think Edwina or you are going to be giving some announcements.
Well, first off, we want to say thank you, Laura. I know Gio's pulling up our screen. So yes, if you can show a reaction, and as Laura said, write any takeaways or reflections. But first and foremost, thank you so much, Laura, just for holding space for us. And even though you did it in your own way, I really appreciated that. And I know that's something that I'm taking away, is that you took us on a journey in your own unique way, and still at the end showed us what collaborative leadership looked like. So I was really grateful for this space. So I'm gonna pass it back to Gio, who has some announcements to share.
Yes. Again, thank you so much, Laura, for joining us today. We really appreciate all the knowledge that you brought to our space, and shout out to everyone who stayed here from the beginning till now. We just have some few more announcements. So in the chat box, you will find a link for our ThunderWeek feedback form. So your feedback is very critical for us. It helps us to make our programs better. So we would really greatly appreciate it if you can fill that up. And as a reminder, that if you haven't checked in yet, please check in using the check-in form, which should be on the chat feature as well. Sorry. And tomorrow we have our last event of Thunder Week. We have our first ever virtual service fair happening tomorrow. Same link. It's going to be happening at 11 o'clock to 12, where we invited few organizations around Highline. So if you're a type of person who is looking for volunteering opportunity, be part of the community, definitely check that out tomorrow. So, and then I think that's pretty much it. Like, I will pass the microphone to Edwina.
Yeah, and as Gio mentioned, we will have more events throughout spring quarter. So we'd love for all of you to continue joining us in building community. Coming up actually at the end of this month, we have the 24th annual Unity Through Diversity Week, aka Unity Week. Our theme this year is Abolition as Healing, Liberating Our Community. And so this space really celebrates the intersections of identities. And so we hope that each of you will continue to be engaged throughout the different programs. If you want a sneak peek of the lineup, I will post the link in the chat. And also, for folks who don't know, we are hiring. As Laura mentioned, they used to be a student leader when they were here at Highline. We have some of our core student leaders in the space as well. And so if you're looking to find an on-campus job, if you're going to be here also through spring quarter of next year, just know that our applications are open and the due date is May 3rd, 2021. So that would actually be, that first week of May. And so students, as Laura was talking about collaborative leadership, if this is your first quarter, second quarter, first year, we'd love to invite you to apply for any of these positions, to continue expanding and learning and applying, some of the skills to the different jobs. I saw some folks, we have some graphic designers in here, our mod team, we have ASHC, which is our student government, If you're looking to work as a clubs leader, we also have that position. If you want to work with me in the ICC, be a peer facilitator, that job is open. And even as Gio mentioned, tomorrow's a virtual service fair. So our same consultants, service and mentorship engagement. I know I'm missing some other teams, so I apologize. Community resource consultants, community budget coordinator are other positions that are open in our space. So I want to say, I think we have 30 positions open. I could be wrong. Leadership advisors, please correct me. But the application is there. And if you have any questions, any of our advisors are open to helping in responding to any of those questions. I think last but not least, if you are not already, follow us on social media. We have a CLS and CCIE page just to keep updated on what's coming up in the weeks to come. So yeah, thank you all so much again for attending. We hope to see you tomorrow at our virtual service fair, if not for sure at other programs that are coming up. And yeah, thank you again for being here. Don't forget, feedback form, which is in the chat. Please fill it out before you leave. And I will also post the links to Unity Week and our jobs. Thank you again, Laura. We appreciate you so much. And thank you, everyone else. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
So much.